Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing new thriller releases. This is the fall edition of this series. I'll link the playlist above if you want to check out some of the other ones I've done. But these are all books that are coming out between October and December, and I think I have like one or two late September ones that might be out by the time you're seeing this, but I just had to include them because they sound so good. So we're gonna go ahead and hop into the first thriller. The first one is by an author I've read before and enjoyed, and that's Rouda. And this book is coming out in November. It's called What the Nanny Saw. This is described as a psychological thriller with a killer twist, and it's coming out on the 13th. Okay, the lady on the cover of this really caught my attention because I love her red lipstick. I love red lipstick, so that just immediately drew my eye. But this one is chilling. This is like a family secret psychological thriller, and in this one we have our main kind of character we're following, Cecilia, and she's a mother and she seems to have it all together. You know, she's got a beautiful baby daughter, Peyton, she's got a beautiful home, she's got a house on the beach, she's got a cute figure, she's got it all together on the outside. But her nanny isn't who she thinks she is. She's actually someone from her past, but she doesn't recognize her. And the nanny starts to rifle through Cecilia's papers when she's taking naps and stuff, and finds out some threats from her ex-husband and some of her dark family secrets. And then Cecilia enacts, maybe, I don't know if it's revenge or something, for the past, and she actually steals Peyton. Ooh, so creepy, so scary, but I am absolutely intrigued. I find Rouda to be a very like bingeable thriller writer. I don't know if she's like my all-time favorite, but she just has like this really great fast-paced writing that's always good for when you're in a reading slump or anything like that. Another psychological thriller I'm so excited for is called Loving Mothers by Miranda Smith, and this is coming out on October 3rd, 2024, and involves the disappearance of a 16-year-old in the neighborhood. So our main character in this is a loving mother, and she would do anything to protect her daughter. Now, there's a Halloween party one night, and the next morning the neighborhood wakes up and Shelby, a 16-year-old who went to the party, is gone. She's disappeared. Nobody knows what's happened to her. Well, our main character's daughter is Shelby's best friend, and she was also in attendance, but when the mother asks her daughter about the party, she brushes her mom off, she lies to her face, and she says they aren't even like friends anymore. But then later, the mom hears her daughter on the phone with Shelby's boyfriend, like laughing. Not looking great. And then she finds her daughter's Halloween costume covered in blood. So how far will she go to cover up secrets? And does she have some secrets of her own? I am so interested. This one sounded so good. By Anne Wynne Clark, we have The Shadows of Hill Manor, the best new psychological suspense thriller for 2024. So we have this young girl, it sounds like, Kimberly, who goes missing near this manor, and then 2 decades later her body is discovered near the manor, and this younger woman named Alessandra is a police officer, and she dedicates herself to finding out what happened to that little girl all those years back. But as she delves into it, the town becomes more and more like suffocating, and there's these secrets on secrets, and the setting, it's like woodlands with like a manor and a marsh, it sounds like, so it sounds like absolutely bone-chilling. And I do love a good like cold case trope in a thriller or mystery, so this one I had to include. Next we have a wedding one. This is called The Good Bride, and this is by Jen Marie Wiggins, and it's coming out on December 10th, 2024. And it's recommended for fans of Laura Dave, Lucy Foley, and Ruth Ware. This is described as Big Little Lies meets The Guest List, and our main character in this is Ruth, and she is the bride-to-be. A year ago, there was this big hurricane that like wrecked and devastated this small fishing town. And to help promote this town and bring business kind of back to it, she decides to throw her wedding, which is going to be the wedding of the year. So it's going to be this huge social event with lots of pomp and circumstance and all that. She's going to throw it at this small fishing town, promote it on social media, make it the very Instagrammable, Pinterest-worthy type event, you know. But as they start to get closer to the wedding, her estranged family, the groom's family, and her bridal party all start to kind of butt heads, and all these tensions are rising and secrets are coming out. And at the oceanfront rehearsal dinner, a series of shots are fired and a high-profile guest goes missing. I'm so intrigued. I think a good wedding drama and a thriller is always very interesting, very entertaining, because weddings are, of course, very happy occasions, or at least they should be, but they're also, you know, high tension. So it's like a good natural setting for a thriller. By Phoebe Morgan, we have The Trip. So if you like a good vacation thriller, this one is for you. This one is heart-stopping, and it's coming out on October 8th. And this is from the author of The Wild Girls. And this one is two couples who go on a vacation, so 4 friends in total. They're all friends with each other. They would all protect each other until a vicious crime happens and a murder happens while they're on the trip. And then it's a question of how far would they go to protect each other, especially when only one of them committed a crime. Oof, I love a good vacation thriller, so if you're looking for a break from colder weather, this one looks like it'll be more in a tropical setting. If you're looking for something really creepy, this next one is inspired by true events. It comes out on November 29th. It's called Where Secrets Stay by CherAnn Wright, and it takes place on an abandoned estate with an artist as our main character. So our main character is Kevan, and she is a renowned artist, and the only place she really finds solace in is her Gammy and her best friend Beth. Well, her Gammy unfortunately passes away, but she leaves this big estate to her unexpectedly and a large inheritance. This is an estate they spent a lot of time at, especially when she was a child. So when she goes there to visit, she starts to connect a lot of these haunting secrets and things from the past, and there's also this strange reference to a little girl who's standing by a pond, and I think that might connect to this other point of view I believe we're reading from, which is Nathan Hill, who has been tormented for the last 2 decades by the disappearance of his little sister. I'm thinking that might be the little girl, don't know for sure, but that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from the description, and it sounds like there could be multiple points of views you're reading from, so this one sounds like it's going to be very creeping. There are warnings. I mean, I would always recommend looking up trigger warnings for thrillers, but this one specifically says there are references to trauma and abuse during this, so just keep that in mind if you're going to pick this one up. By Keri Beevis, we have The Cottage by the Sea. This is a psychological thriller, and this is coming out on October 14th, 2024. And the question for this is, how well do you really know your husband? So our main character in this, 2 years ago, she lost her husband and best friend who were both in a car crash together. And not only is she reeling from this horrific loss, but she also doesn't know why they were in the car together. So this has been haunting her for years. She doesn't know why it happened. She's struggling with this grief. So a friend of her really convinces her to kind of get outside of her reclusive lifestyle, which involves staying in at this cottage by the sea. She's really become a recluse over the last 2 years, understandably, but her friend convinces her to sign up for this dating site, and she agrees to it. She actually matches with someone right away, and she's really excited. She's like, okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can get out of my shell. But the problem is that the dating site, there's a lot of anonymity to it. Like, people can be anonymous. Are they really who they say they are? Kind of the general premise for this. It sounds very interesting. I have so many questions from the description alone that I think it just sounds like an amazing premise. By Susan Lewis, we have Nothing to See Here. This is a crime thriller with a triple murder, and this is coming out on November 21st, 2024. So there is a triple murder with a mother, a daughter, and a family friend. They are all murdered, and then one young girl is also disappeared. We don't know if she's kidnapped. We don't know if she was also murdered. There's one suspect for all of this. Fingers seem to be pointing at one person in particular, and that is to the husband of one of the victims, but he still walks free. And our character, Christy Ward, is a true crime podcaster, and she wants to feature this case with the 3 women and disappearance. And she wants to know, can she solve their murders, and is that girl still out there? Can they find her before it's too late? This just had so many elements that caught my attention. And I really like the cover for it. I think the colors are so stunning. Next we have Watch Your Back by Terri Parlato. This is coming out on December 24th, 2024, and it takes place during a bleak Boston winter. So this one is a domestic thriller. Our main character is Eve, and she is a psychiatrist, and she frequently tells her patients that no matter how careful you are, accidents happen. They're a part of life. For example, and in some cases, accidents aren't even a bad thing. For example, in one situation in her life, she actually was ran off the road by like a car, but at the collision shop where she was getting her car fixed, she met her husband. So, you know, sometimes things turn out for a reason, right? Fast forward a few years later and they're married, they have a beautiful home, they have a baby girl, they have a great like babysitter. Everything's going well, right? Well, you'd think so. But the stress in Eve's life is mounting both personally and professionally. The clinic that she works at used to be this like kind of creepy institution, and even though it's been remodeled, she still feels very uneasy there. And then recently there's been a break-in on her like neighborhood, like on her street, and she's just getting really nervous. And this detective who's looking into some crimes around the area starts to notice a pattern that all of these crimes seem to somehow center around Eve. So this is going to basically bring up the cracks in their relationship, their marriage, and what's really going on. And this just sounds super interesting. Eve sounds like a really dynamic character, so I really want to check this one out. Coming out on December 3rd, 2024, we have The Party. This is by Natasha Preston, and it takes place in the heart of the English countryside. So this kind of sounds like a young adult and then there were none sort of retelling. Basically, on this English countryside, a bunch of teenagers are going to this big like estate to have a big like spring break party, and Bessie and her closest friends are attending. It's a secret party. They're really trying to have a big fun time, but then a death happens and the body count continues to rise one by one. But there's a deadly storm and a lot of internal suspicion that's making this even more difficult. They can't escape. There's all the suspicion about who's doing it, and this just sounded really good. I've had hit or miss times with young adult thrillers, but sometimes they can be really good, and this one sounded like an interesting time. I love a like and then there were none type retelling. By Caitlin Weaver, we have Things We Never Say, an unforgettable emotional story of secrets and lies. 3 mothers, 3 secrets, 1 devastating scandal. And this came out on September 27th, 2024. So this is supposed to be a gripping tale of scandal, deception, and female solidarity, which are themes I'm really interested in. And we have 3 different mothers in this. We have Anna, who's this very soft-spoken mother. She really keeps close, like her secret's close to her, but she gets volunteered on this committee with 2 other mothers, and she starts to get closer to revealing her big secret. Then we have Maggie, who is a relationship therapist, and she's really embarrassed because she has a floundering marriage. Then we have Rhea, who is a very wealthy mother and woman, but she has a troubled past that could resurface and shatter everything. Then they come across some kind of scandal, and Anna has to come to terms with whether or not she reveals her secret, which is about her husband, the headmaster of the school that their kids are attending. This sounds really good, and I like the fact that it says like female solidarity is one of the themes, because I'm hoping that means the women like somehow bond together to solve this. I'm really excited. If you like a survivalist thriller, this one's for you. It's called The Survivors, and this is by Carolyn Mitchell, and it's coming out on December 1st, 2024. It involves a fatal car crash with only 1 witness, but are they telling the truth? So we have a couple central characters in this. We have Mara, and I think she's the witness to the crash, it sounds like, and she's watching when she sees this crash, and her niece Finn and her daughter are in the car. And then in the other car we have Catherine and her daughter, who's a newborn, and both of these women have their own secrets, and the women survive, but one of the girls does not. So then everyone is at Mara's house, because I think they were kind of like on site where this crash happened, and they are medicated. They're trying to recover and come to grips with what happened, but Catherine has a sinking suspicion that the women are lying to her, maybe trying to protect someone. I don't know if there was someone at fault with the crash. And then Finn, the niece, Mara's niece, her mind is kind of confused, and she keeps thinking about her deceased mother who recently died, and it sounds like in a similar fashion on the Irish coast. So it just sounds like a very layered, very psychological, maybe unreliable narrator situation, which sounded really intriguing. And then last but not least, we have one by Irene Hanna, and this is Over the Edge. This is a psychological suspense thriller romance with a police detective and trauma survivor. And this is coming out on October 1st. This is the 2nd book in the Undaunted Courage series. So our main character is Lindsay Barnes. She's a trauma survivor from something that happened in the 1st book, presumably, and she's struggling to come to grips with her new life, and then she witnesses a high-profile murder, and she's the only witness to it, and someone is doing everything they can to undermine her memory and her credibility. Then we have police detective Jack Tucker, who is trying to listen to her story, but is getting really confused, is worried about her credibility, and the story is just not lining up quite like it should. But the more he gets to know her, she's a personal chef, it sounds like, the more he's convinced that someone's putting a target on her life and is at work behind the scenes with everything going on. So this one sounds really interesting, kind of like a suspense, maybe kind of crime thriller with a touch of romance. It sounds like these two maybe get involved, maybe? I don't know. That's my guess. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know down below. Did I miss any thrillers that are coming out this fall that you're very excited for? Let me know down below in the comments. I love hearing recommendations from you guys. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I do post new video content on books, mysteries, thrillers, anything like that on my channel every week. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!